You're here on Giant 96 with Tyler, Bryant The Shakedown on a trip with Penny Lane.
So, good morning to you guys.
We were up at 5 a.m.
We finished our show 12 hours
ago. Yeah, we finished our show 12 hours ago, and we were up at 5 a.m. So it feels like it's 8 in the morning right now.
It could be rough being a rock star band, huh?
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
It's pretty rough, isn't it? So tell me, you guys played in Nashville, Tennessee last night.
Yeah, it was our very first sold-out show in Nashville.
So introduce your band for me, Tyler.
Well, I got Graham Whitford over here. Graham, say hello.
Hey, Graham.
And then Noah Denny over here. Graham plays guitar, Noah plays the bass, and Caleb plays the drums. Caleb Crosby.
Hello.
From Winchester, Kentucky.
Winchester, Kentucky.
Right.
How's life in Winchester, Kentucky? What's it like growing up there?
You know, not too much going on.
Not too much country?
Yeah, you know, it's just a small little town, but yeah, you're grateful for those things, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, Tyler, you grew up in the country.
Yeah, we're actually all pretty southern except for Graham.
Except for Graham? Well,
we're converting him, though, I think.
He had that rock star life with his dad, in case the listeners don't know. Graham's father was in Aerosmith, or is in Aerosmith, I should say.
Wait, your dad's in Aerosmith?
Yeah,
I thought it was the Eagles.
You didn't know that?
I thought he was in Rat.
Oh, yeah.
Foreigner?
So, Tyler, how long have you been playing? Like, how old were you when you first picked up your guitar? I know it was young.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing Elvis impersonations at 6 with a, little 3-stringed harmony acoustic guitar. Sold my dirt bike at 11 years old, bought my first electric guitar, and that was when I got serious about it.
Did your parents know you were going to sell your dirt bike, or did you just?
Well, they gave it to me for Christmas, and about a month later, I stumbled into this guitar shop randomly, and I heard this guy named Roosevelt Twitty playing, who was just the real deal, old Texas bluesman, and I knew right then that I had to have an electric guitar.
So you heard him playing live, right?
I heard him playing in the guitar shop.
In the guitar shop.
He was sitting over in the corner just doing like. Singing about how like his baby left him crying and all this stuff, and how he's gonna find a new woman every day and stuff like that. And I was just like, this guy's so cool. And I knew that I had to get a guitar, and so I found this guitar hanging on the wall, and I said to my dad, I was like, I gotta get this. And
yeah, I was always surrounded by music. There was never really anything else I wanted to do. You know, I was never like, oh, I want to be like a doctor or something. It was just always like a musician from day one. Yeah, it was cool. And
Dr. You guys are fun.
Gotta help us all.
I was saying to someone yesterday, though, Aerosmith just came out with their new record, and I was saying probably the coolest thing about my dad being in that band is that I can, I can listen to his new record and be like, wow, this is awesome, in a way, not like, oh, he's my dad, but this record sounds really great.
Right.
As a piece of music. And we can do the same, like after we had first got our masters done, our new record, which comes out January 22nd, Wild Child.
Yes, exciting.
We all the whole band drove out to my dad's house in Nashville, and we played him our record, and then he played us his record. So it was wild.
It was cool to just sit there and like come.
We were sharing each other's music, so
that's pretty special.
That was a good day, for sure.
So Tyler, tell me about your new CD.
Wild Child comes out January 22nd.
Good name.
Thank you. Yeah, we felt it was fitting for the way that the record sounds. So we're really excited. We worked hard on it. It's live and dirty rock and roll. It's rootsy. We tracked the whole thing in 13 days, all live in the same room to analog 2-inch tape.
That's pretty good, 13 days.
Yeah, well, we spent 3.5 months on a record beforehand, and it sounded like we spent 3.5 months making a record. I feel like rock bands shouldn't spend, more than a couple weeks making records in the studio. Well, I mean, it just depends on the kind of record you want to make, I guess. But the record that we wanted to make was, we wanted it to sound wild, We wanted it to sound like a bunch of dudes who, have way too much testosterone in a room with amps that are way too loud, playing their songs and just being young. And I think that's what it sounded like.
And so where can people get this at?
That's what it sounded like, man.
Tell us about your website so people can...
Yeah, it's TylerBryantMusic.com. The record's out January 22nd. Our first single, Last One Leaving, is out.
Good song. People have been requesting it.
Thank
Whole
you.
bunch.
Wow, thanks for spinning it. Yeah.
So how did you meet Noah? We know how you met Graham. How did you meet Noah and Caleb?
Well, I met Caleb. Caleb and I have been doing this the longest. I met him, 3.5 years ago or so.
Almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years ago, and I met him through a mutual friend. I was looking for a drummer, someone that was my age that liked rock and roll music.
Which is so important to find the right drummer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important part of the band. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, it's like you got to start somewhere.
No, I was upset. No, I just...
You got to start somewhere. And so you can't build a house without the foundation, and I needed somebody to kind of lay the concrete,
So you found Caleb. Where'd you find him at?
Just kidding.
I met Caleb in Nashville at a coffee shop, and we sat there for a couple hours, and I told drummer jokes the whole time.
The entire time.
Did he have any good ones?
Yeah,
No, they were
Now that
all
you can share with
horrible.
us,
I don't
they
even
were all bad?
remember.
Really?
What does a drummer use for birth control?
What?
His personality.
Oh,
But ding.
Did you ever come up with any guitar ones back for us, Caleb?
I
No?
honestly, I'm
No?
so bad at telling jokes. I should do that though. I should
Google it.
Google it. Yeah.
That's right. At least you got Tyler though. Keep you
Yeah.
when you're on tour in between shows. He can tell you a bunch of jokes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So I met Caleb, and we talked about jamming for the longest time, and finally, a month and a half or so later, we got together, and he brought a bass player with him that ended up playing with us for, about 3 years, and then that bass player decided he wanted to kind of have maybe a more normal life.
Okay.
So he's
Well, wait a minute. What's unnormal about your life?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. I think this is pretty normal, but being in it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
I think I've heard that before.
You got to do a lot of things. Like it's not as glamorous as you think a lot of times. So we started auditioning bass players in Nashville, and we auditioned about 25 bass players, and Noah was number 24.
Wow.
Black boots, white jeans, so tight, just so right, oh so mean. She moved fast in her pink sunglasses and bust out of that limousine. Try to see things that just getting bumping, and then she taking over me. Stereo's up, so let's get down, go in the bill and believe. Take my hand, take my heart now, hey, my super lady. Make your lips shake, your lips me on the left side. Come on, put it down on the place, hey. Everybody need a woman like that. Kiss you, save the day. Never running trouble, she running on the double. Lipstick, Wonder Woman way. trouble. See you riding on the double, dressed in Wonder Woman ways.
Now, tell me about, I've seen that you recently worked on the score for Fox Studios' blockbuster Abraham Lincoln and Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did all the guitars in that.
That is so cool.
I know, it was a really fun experience to get to, you know, watch it and play the parts.
So that's how it works? They, like, play the movie for you, and then you sit there with your guitar and just play what you feel?
Well,
something like that?
You
How's
know,
it work?
They had a lot of the stuff written, you know, for they had pretty much everything written, and then it was just, you know, playing it with the right emotion. So they'd play it on the screen, and then I would have to kind of try to get the right feel to it. So,
is it hard? Is it a hard thing to do as a musician?
No,
or
I mean,
no?
it happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, 3 or 4 days.
So when we watch those movies, that's you playing on it.
It's me, yeah.
So, I mean, you've toured with Jeff Beck, Aerosmith, B.B. King, Heart, Smash Mouth, REO Speedwagon, Vince Gill.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've played with a lot of different people.
and that's just great. Great. Who's been one of your, like, most special to tour with?
The most special for me was with Jeff Beck, just because as a kid growing up, he was always a hero of mine. And so getting to play with him was like really, you know, getting to just see him play every night and to play on stage with him was unbelievable.
So many people on Facebook have just been, you know, big fans of you guys in
Yeah.
town, and phones have been ringing off the hook.
Well,
for
thank you to all of our
tickets and-
fans.
Yeah.
This is how the story goes. It's never really been a one-man show. From Muddy Waters to the Rolling Stones, out west to Tupelo. There's one kid driving all night in his car. There's another in his room strumming his guitar. He don't do it for the money, he do it for the heart. The poor boy's dream. Some out there chasing big bright lights, fancy cars and fine other things in life. That's well and good, but it don't mean much to me. Well, I hope you sleep sound when you close your eyes, and when the sun goes down, you know I'll come alive and hit the town just singing on that old boy's dream. Oh, boy. Longer days must come to an end. When one man leaves off, you know another begins. A brand new song with a distant melody. You may play for gold or play for change, but if you listen close, it all sounds the same. Like 1,000 ghosts just singing on that old boy's dream. Like 1,000 ghosts just singing on that old boy's dream. Like 1,000 ghosts, yeah, this is just a poor boy's dream.
Woo! Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown live on Giant 96. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming
Thank you.
out.
Thanks for having us.